am Dr. Gayatri, Assistant Professor at Smriti College of Pharmaceutical Education, Indore, from the Department of Pharmacology. In our today's class, we will learn about what is gout and the drugs used in the treatment of gout. So coming to gout, gout is a metabolic disorder which is characterized by hyperuricemia. So in gout, the uric acid levels are increased. So normal uric acid levels of a person are between 2 and 6 mg per dl. So this uric acid, it is a product of urine metabolism and it has low water solubility, especially when the pH is low. So when blood levels of uric acid are increased, it precipitates and deposits in joints, kidney and subcutaneous tissue in the form of tophi. Tophi are nothing but hardened uric acid depositions under skin. So secondary hyperuricemia, we know that secondary means it is a result of a precondition. So secondary hyperuricemia occurs in leukemias, lymphomas, polycythemia, especially when these patients have been treated with chemotherapy or radiation, because in these conditions enhanced nucleic acid metabolism and uric acid production occurs. And then drug-induced hyperuricemia is seen when a patient is using thiazides, furosemide, pyrazinamide, ethambutol, levodopa. All of these reduce uric acid excretion by kidneys. So coming to what happens in gout. So there is in a normal person, the uric acid levels are normal. So there is no disease. But when gout happens, there is an asymptomatic state in which hyperuricemia is seen and MSU crystal deposition is seen. And then coming to symptomatic state, we see recurrent gout flares. What are these flares? What happens in this? We will see as we go ahead. And coming to symptomatic disease with complications. In this stage, chronic gouty arthritis is seen with tophaceous gout. Chronic arthritis gout and then chronic gouty arthritis and tophaceous gout are seen in this complicated stage. So the risk factors for these are genetic factors, environmental factors, impaired kidney function. So when kidney function is impaired, uric acid excretion is reduced. Increasing age, male sex, medications, high cell turnover states, etc. And then the risk factors or causes of this state are reduced solubility of urate, increased nucleation of MSU crystals, and growth of MSU crystals happens in asymptomatic state as well as symptomatic state. And coming to this state, acute inflammatory response due to deposited MSU crystals is seen. And in the final state, chronic granulomatous inflammatory response to deposited crystals is seen. Coming to the drugs used in treatment of gout, they are classified mainly into two classes: acute drugs used in treatment of acute gout and drugs used in the treatment of chronic gout. So in acute gout, NSAIDs, corticosteroids and colchicine are used. While coming to chronic gout, it is subdivided into two subclasses. There are drugs that are used to inhibit uric acid synthesis and drugs that increase uric acid excretion, because in gout uric acid levels are increased. So these drugs act by either reducing the synthesis or by increasing its excretion. So drugs that inhibit the synthesis are called urostatic drugs. They are allopurinol and febuxostat. And coming to drugs that increase excretion are probenecid and sulfenpyrazole. So what happens in gout? So basically uric acid is produced when as we have seen during urine metabolism. So purine nucleotides are converted into hypoxanthine, and hypoxanthine produces xanthine in the presence of xanthine oxide, and this results in production of uric acid. So this uric acid is either excreted in urine and also through alimentary excretion. But when excess of uric acid is present, either because of no excretion is not properly happening or excess of synthesis, tissue deposition in excess occurs. So coming to pathophysiology of gout. So how this gout happens is what we see here. So we have seen that gout, uric acid is a product of purine metabolism. So purine nucleotides are produced hypoxanthines. Hypoxanthines are converted into xanthines in the presence of xanthine oxidase, and then this xanthine is converted into uric acid, which is excreted in urine through alimentary excretion. But when this excretion is reduced or synthesis is increased, it results in tissue deposition in excess. This results in formation of urate crystals, which results in formation of microtophi, or this results in an inflammatory response. How this happens is what we will see. So when we have studied about the classification of drugs, we know that there are certain drugs, uricose urics are increased urinary excretion of uric acid. Then colchicine and NSAIDs are used in treatment of inflammatory response, and then xanthine oxidase, allopurinol and oxypurinol act on this part of the cycle. So what happens when an acute attack happens? So precipitates of urate crystals, they get accumulated in synovial fluid. We know that synovial fluid is present between the joints. So these are engulfed by synovial cells. So this results in release of mediators. So whenever mediators are released, what happens? Inflammatory response is seen. So this results in starting of an inflammatory response. So when this happens, chemotactic factors are produced, which results in granulocyte migration into the joint. So because of this whole thing is happening in synovial fluid, this granulocyte migration happens into the joint. Then they phagocytose urate crystals. This results in a release of glycoprotein, which aggravates the inflammation by two mechanisms. One is increasing lactic acid production from the inflammatory cells. Because of lactic acid production, local pH is reduced. And when we have seen that uric acid's dissolution is further reduced at low pH. Solubility is further reduced at low pH, because of which more crystals are precipitated in the affected joint. So first is lactic acid production is increased, which results in reduction of pH, which results in further precipitation of urate crystals in the affected joint. And the second mechanism is releasing of lysosomal enzymes, which cause joint destruction. So these two happen when release of glycoprotein, which aggravates the inflammation. So coming to acute gout, what happens in acute gout? So acute gout manifests as sudden onset of severe inflammation in a small joint. So most often this is seen in the metatarsophalangeal joint of the great toe. This happens due to precipitation of urate crystals in the joint space, and then the joint becomes red, swollen and extremely painful, because whenever there is an inflammatory response, there is redness, swelling and pain, which requires immediate treatment. So in the classification we have seen that there are 3 drugs which are used in the treatment of acute gout. The first one is NSAIDs. So NSAIDs are nothing but non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So in the name itself we know that their action in gout is to prevent or to inhibit the inflammatory response. So what they do, these are one of the strong anti-inflammatory drugs such as naproxen or piroxicam or diclofenac are given at a very high dose and repeatedly they are given. So the goal of using these drugs is to terminate the attack, and they are quite effective in terminating the attack, but the only disadvantage is they take about 12 to 24 hours to show this effect. So colchicine takes much lesser time to show this effect. So they are generally better tolerated. Many of the patients prefer NSAIDs over colchicine. Their strong inflammatory action is responsible for the benefit which is seen. They do not have any increase in uric acid excretion or any such actions. They plainly show strong anti-inflammatory action. And then naproxen and piroxicam specifically inhibit the chemotactic migration of leukocytes into the inflamed joint. We have seen that what happens when this happens while studying the pharmacology. And NSAIDs are also used in chronic gout as treatment substitute of colchicine for covering up the period of initial therapy with allopurinol or uricose urics. So in chronic gout treatment we see that there are drugs which are given, which are used to increase the uric acid excretion. So when during that initial when the therapy is initiated, the patient should also be treated for the symptoms that the patient is showing, that is because of the inflammation. So NSAIDs can be used during that initial phase of that treatment to treat the pain related to the inflammation. Coming to colchicine. Colchicine is an alkaloid which is extracted from colchicum and colchicum autumnale, which was used in gout since 1973. And colchicine it neither shows analgesic action nor shows anti-inflammatory action, but it specifically suppresses gouty inflammation. The inflammation which is seen in gout alone is suppressed by colchicine. It does not inhibit the synthesis or promote the excretion of uric acid. Thus, it has no effect on the blood uric acid level. So, colchicine is only given for the symptomatic treatment. It neither reduces the synthesis nor increases the excretion. Mechanism by which this drug acts is basically it does not affect the colchicine does not affect phagocytosis of urate crystals. But it inhibits the release of chemotactic factors and of glycoprotein, because of which the subsequent events are suppressed. With these, what happens when this happens, we have seen while studying about the pathophysiology. So the main mechanism by which it acts is it binds to fibrillar protein tubulin, which results in inhibition of granulocyte migration into the inflamed joint. Therefore, it interrupts the cycle. Coming to pharmacokinetics, it is well absorbed, rapidly absorbed orally, and it is partly metabolized in liver and excreted in bile. It undergoes enterohepatic circulation. Ultimate disposal occurs in urine and feces over many days. And inhibitors of CYP3A4 retard colchicine metabolism, and therefore it enhances its toxicity. Coming to adverse effects, nausea, vomiting, watery or bloody diarrhea and abdominal cramps occur as dose-limiting adverse effects. And then accumulation of drug in intestine and inhibition of mitosis in its rapid turnover in mucosa is responsible for the toxicity. In overdose, colchicine produces kidney damage, CNS depression, intestinal bleeding and death due to muscular paralysis and respiratory failure. Chronic therapy with colchicine is not recommended because it causes aplastic anemia, agranulocytosis and myopathy and loss of hair. Coming to uses, colchicine is used in the treatment of acute gout. It is used in prophylaxis also. So prophylaxis colchicine is used 0.5 to 1 mg per day. It can prevent further attacks of acute gout, but NSAIDs are generally preferred in prophylaxis. And taken at the first symptom of an attack, small doses, that is 0.5 to 1.5 mg of colchicine, abort the attack, that is immediately they terminate the attack. So they are used in the treatment of acute gout. They can be used in prophylaxis, but NSAIDs are preferred, and when the attack is just about to start or just starting, they can be used to terminate the attack. So this is about the first two classes of anti-gout drugs. So the treatment goals of gout are to reduce the frequency of attacks, to prevent further attacks, to treat the symptoms which happen due to the attack, and also to prevent further complications. Hope you all understood.